Chosen one, you did not arrive at this moment by chance. The 17th of June has long been marked in the courts of heaven as a day unlike any other. In the natural, it appears to be just another date, but in the realm of God, it is a divine threshold, an hour sealed in mystery and purpose. This is a turning point written into your timeline long before you knew how deeply your steps would matter. You may not have seen it coming, but heaven has. There has been movement in the invisible orchestrated by the hands of God himself. The silence you walked through, the delays you endured, the ache that refused to leave your chest, all of it has led you here. You are standing at the edge of something sacred, and the air around you knows it. This moment is not ordinary, because you are not ordinary. You are chosen, set apart, shaped by fire, and refined in silence. There is something in your spirit that has been stirring a restlessness. You couldn't explain, a quiet awareness that something was drawing near. That was not imagination. That was alignment. That was heaven preparing your soul for what your eyes have not yet seen. The pain, the confusion, the waiting, they were not wasted. They were necessary. They were the soil that protected the seed God planted within you. And now the earth around that seed is beginning to break. Today is not a coincidence. It is not a random collision of time and circumstance. It is a holy appointment. The hand of God has drawn a circle around this day, and because you are still here, still believing, still standing, still soft, when you had every reason to harden, something has shifted on your behalf. The winds have changed, and the atmosphere is responding to a name written in heaven, yours. If this reached you at the exact moment you needed it, comment, "This was for me." Let heaven see your agreement. What did this awaken in you? Your words carry weight someone else may need. The faith you release by simply responding, "This message is not like others you've read." You must not treat it as common. It is a divine call to attention. Something has been released over your life, not in theory, not in symbols, but in real time. The slowness that once surrounded you is giving way to speed. The fog that once covered your path is beginning to lift. The heavens are not silent anymore. God has already begun to move. Chosen one, pay attention. There is a weight in this moment that demands reverence. This is not the time to retreat, to doubt, or to delay. You have been prepared in obscurity, but now the unveiling begins. You are not stepping into a new season. You are stepping into the fulfillment of one long promised, and the 17th of June has been chosen as the day heaven begins to open what once seemed forever sealed. There are conversations taking place in places you have not entered. Decisions are forming around your name, and you do not yet know it. What you sowed in faith, what you obeyed in private, has now awakened movement in the unseen. Someone, somewhere, has spoken your name with a tone they didn't understand. Softly, curiously, unexpectedly, because heaven whispered it into their heart. That whisper has started a ripple, and that ripple has reached the throne of God. Chosen one, the last time you responded to a divine prompt quietly, humbly, even when your heart was trembling, something broke open. It did not look dramatic on the outside, but in the spirit the impact was profound. You did not know it, but that small yes shook the atmosphere. Your obedience became permission, and heaven, waiting in stillness, began to move. There is a scroll real sealed and sacred that has remained untouched for longer than you can imagine. It holds details written by the hand of God himself. Your name is on it, your timing, your territory, your inheritance. Until now it could not be delivered. The silence you endured was not heaven's rejection, but heaven's restraint. The scroll was guarded not because you were forgotten, but because you were not yet finished. As C.S. Lewis writes, "In the problem of pain, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. The pain and silence you faced were God's megaphone shouting through your trials to prepare you for the moment when this sacred scroll would be released. But today, because you did not harden, because you did not abandon your post, Because you kept your heart open despite the coldness of those around you, the scroll has been released, and with it a chain reaction has begun. What was once locked is being loosed. What was once delayed is being called forth. The restrictions placed upon your destiny by the voices of man through false counsel, hidden jealousy, and whispered dismissal are being overturned by divine authority. There were words spoken behind closed doors that tried to define you. There were signatures in the spirit realm that tried to cancel you. But God saw every false agreement. He heard every lie disguised as concern. He watched every face that smiled while secretly hoping for your fall, and he has overruled them. Every paper signed against your future is now invalid. Every name that rose against you in shadow is being exposed by light. C.S. Lewis in The Weight of Glory declares, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal. You, chosen one, are no mere mortal. You are a divine creation whose destiny cannot be erased by human schemes, and heaven's light is now revealing your true calling. Chosen one, this is the moment of divine reversal. What the enemy built against you has collapsed beneath its own weight. The trap set for you has become the place of their own unraveling. You thought nothing changed, but that was only because the greatest shifts are born in silence. While you stood still, the Lord of hosts fought battles on your behalf. While you wept alone, he rewrote the outcome. Now the spiritual resistance that once held your breakthrough in limbo has been scattered. What was set in motion by your obedience cannot be undone by human hands. And what is coming will not announce itself with fanfare. It will arrive humbly, quietly, wrapped in simplicity. A message, a call, a suggestion, a door, and though small in appearance, it will carry divine weight. When it comes, you will know. Your spirit will leap with the recognition of something heaven sent. Do not dismiss it. Do not overanalyze it. Move with it. This is not coincidence. This is alignment, and the signal has already been sent. You were not present when they spoke against you. You didn't hear the words, but heaven did. The ones who once praised you in public and questioned your calling in private, God saw them. He recorded every sideways glance, dressed as concern, every dishonest word veiled in politeness, every subtle maneuver meant to keep you small. And though they thought it would go unnoticed, the truth has not been buried. It has been stored for a day like this. Chosen one, the accusations against your spirit did not originate in the physical. They were born in envy, in fear, in the ancient war between light and darkness. There were those who gathered not to pray for you, but to plan around you. They called it wisdom, but it was manipulation. They claimed to protect, but secretly plotted to delay. They didn't speak your name in faith. They signed it in dismissal, but the ink they used has dried into nothing. The verdict they whispered has been overruled because you remained silent when you could have defended yourself. Heaven has defended you because you refused to fight in the flesh. The Spirit fought for you, and now the case built against you has collapsed. You thought the delay was because of your weakness. It wasn't. It was because of God's timing. He was gathering the evidence, allowing every word, every motive, every deception to come into full exposure before he moved on your behalf. And move he has. There was a trap set for you in recent days, a conversation you were never supposed to be part of, a plan meant to ensnare your steps. But the plan failed. The people behind it grew confused. The message never sent. The meeting never occurred. You felt nothing on the surface, but in the spirit entire timelines were shifted. God rerouted danger and disrupted what would have led to your spiritual entanglement. You were spared, not because you knew, but because heaven did. Chosen one, you have no idea how many battles have been fought for you behind the veil. The reason your name is still standing, your purpose still breathing, and your calling still intact is not because of luck, but because of divine protection. Not once, not occasionally, but constantly. Even in your doubt, even in your fatigue, you were guarded. And now that protection is becoming provision, The very place where they tried to bury you will soon be the place where your name is honored. Those who once excluded you will be the first to recognize what God was doing all along, not for your glory, but for His, not for revenge, but for justice. This is the hour of reversal, not only of delay, but of every lie, every barrier, every attempt to erase what God wrote concerning your life. The tables are turning, the silence is breaking, and the ones who once overlooked you will no longer be able to look away. The shift has already begun. It will not come with thunder, but with stillness, not with spectacle, but with signs. And chosen one, you must learn now to recognize what heaven sends without needing it to shout. The confirmation will not always look like deliverance. It may look like disruption. It may arrive through a message you almost ignored, a voice you haven't heard in years, or a door that looks too small to be sacred. It will begin quietly. A call, a question, a suggestion, a moment that seems too ordinary to matter. But deep in your spirit, you will feel it. The quiet pull, the sudden peace wrapped in urgency, the weight of something eternal clothed in simplicity. That is how heaven moves when it is ready to fulfill a word. Not with noise, but with unmistakable presence. Do not underestimate the signs. God is not just speaking through sermons and dreams, but through atmospheres. You may feel a chill in the air where there was stillness. You may be awakened at a precise hour without reason. You may see a name repeated, a place highlighted, a word you needed showing up again and again. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. You, chosen one, must become still enough to notice and mature enough to respond. The same sensitivity that allowed you to survive the silence is the very discernment you'll need now. Do not rush. Do not panic. But do not delay when the door appears. You will know it by the peace that surrounds it, the stirring within your chest, and the way your spirit seems to wake up at its touch. This is the moment when faith must replace fear, not just belief in what God can do, but belief that He is now doing it for you. For too long, you have hoped in private, while doubting in silence. But the one who formed your path has not forgotten the blueprint. He is awakening what He hid. And now that your heart is soft enough, surrendered enough, still enough, He will begin to show you why the waiting had to last so long. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into clarity. And the signs will come quickly now. Be ready. Keep watch. The hour has come. The season you're stepping into, chosen one, is not symbolic. It is not theoretical. What is being released now carries weight in both the spirit and the physical. This is not just a spiritual shift. It is the beginning of tangible evidence. You will see it. You will feel it. You will walk in it. And it will come in ways that remind you God has not forgotten and the pain was not wasted. There are financial movements already unfolding on your behalf. Transactions being reviewed, approvals being revisited, withheld resources being released, unexpected refunds, closed accounts, reopening, debts being reversed, and credits appearing without warning. These are not coincidences. They are the fruit of obedience that was sown in pain. What was blocked is now being unlocked, not by the hands of man, but by the justice of God. But this is not only about provision, it is about positioning. You are being aligned for something greater than survival. You are being prepared for influence, for responsibility, for favor that won't fracture your soul. That's why you had to lose what you lost. That's why certain doors slammed shut. Not as punishment, but as protection. You were not being stripped. You were being preserved. Now people are being stirred concerning you. Your name is rising in rooms you haven't entered. Meetings are being planned without your knowledge, but not to harm, to honor. There is someone, one with power, placement, and access, who cannot explain the pull they feel toward your life. What they once overlooked, they are now being compelled to acknowledge. What they once doubted, they are now being drawn toward. And though they do not yet understand the urgency, the Spirit of God is pressing on their heart with your name, chosen one. Your absence has begun to speak louder than your presence once did. Where you were once invisible, you are now unforgettable. Not because you campaigned for recognition, but because heaven has lifted the veil. The covering is still on you, but the hiding is over. You will begin to see divine replacements, relationships that come without manipulation, connections that require no compromise. God is not just restoring what was lost, He is replacing what was wrong. And what is being sent will not drain you, deplete you, or compete with you. It will honor you. Help is on the way, assigned help, pure-hearted help, heaven-approved help, and it will recognize you not only for your strength, but for the scars that shaped you. And when it comes, chosen one, you must not shrink back. Do not reject ease just because you became familiar with struggle. This is not a trick. It is not too good to be true. It is the manifestation of what you believed for in the dark. This is the harvest born of hidden faithfulness. There is a temptation that often arrives with transition to reach back toward what is familiar, even when it once wounded you. But hear this clearly, chosen one. You cannot carry the old into what is sacredly new. What you once tolerated, heaven has now called unclean. The environments that drained you, the people who dismissed you, the habits that dulled your spirit. None of these are permitted to follow you into your next, as C.S. Lewis writes, in Mere Christianity. It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad. You, chosen one, must now hatch into the new creation God has formed, leaving behind the shell of the past to soar into the destiny awaiting you. You may feel the pull, the nostalgia, the desire to explain yourself to those who never truly saw you. But this moment is not a negotiation. It is a separation. What was removed was not rejection, it was rescue. And what hurt you wasn't just a season of hardship, it was a threat to your inheritance. God didn't close those doors to punish you. He closed them to preserve the promise over your life. Chosen one, do not return to places that required you to shrink in order to be accepted. Do not reconnect with those who only loved the version of you that was silent, small, or broken. You are not who you were, and that is exactly why they no longer fit. They may appear again. Some will apologize. Some will act as if nothing ever happened. But you must discern the difference between conviction and convenience. Not everyone who returns is meant to remain. There is a warning in this hour. If you reach back to what God has already released you from, you will delay what was meant to come quickly. This new season has momentum, divine speed, and it cannot afford the weight of past cycles. God is not calling you to repeat, but to rise. You have crossed the threshold. You are no longer surviving. You are advancing. The danger now is not the enemy in front of you, but the open door behind you. Close it. Lock it. Seal it in prayer. What was once a chapter is now a caution. Your pain has already paid for the lesson. Do not pay again by reliving it. You've cried enough. You've waited long enough. And heaven has moved. Do not make God remove again what He already took from you in mercy. This is your call to maturity, to protection, to destiny. Leave behind what cannot honor the weight of what God is now placing in your hands. You are not being elevated so you can go back. You are being elevated so you can lead forward. Within 72 hours, something will shift. Not metaphorically, literally. And when it happens, you must not second-guess it. You, chosen one, have reached a divine threshold. The heavens have been stirred, the command has been released, and now signs will begin to find you. Some might come quietly, others may catch you off guard, but all of them will speak one thing: it has begun. Watch carefully. There will be a message, a notification, a phone call, a chance encounter. You may dream of someone you haven't seen in years. You may hear a name repeated more than once. You may even feel an inner nudge to respond to something you almost ignored. Do not dismiss it. The movement of God in this season will not always roar. Sometimes it will whisper, but those who are tuned in will know when it's Him. Chosen one, Your spiritual sensitivity is no longer optional, it is required. What comes next will not always look divine on the surface. It may appear ordinary, even unimpressive. But heaven has a history of wrapping glory in simplicity. The birth of your breakthrough may arrive in the form of a suggestion, an opportunity, or an unexpected moment of clarity. Don't let its smallness cause you to overlook its significance. There is someone right now unknown to you, yet crucial to your destiny, who is feeling the pull to respond to your name. They cannot explain why you're on their mind. They do not understand the urgency they feel, but heaven has impressed something into their spirit. They are wrestling with the need to reach out, to release, to obey. This too is part of the divine unfolding, and when they do move, it will look sudden to you, but it was ordained long ago. You must respond with praise, not panic, with discernment, not delay. This is not the time to test the soil of every opportunity. This is the time to recognize the fragrance of God on what He has touched. Your spirit will leap. Your atmosphere will shift. Your heart will know. The countdown has already begun. And though the enemy will attempt to distract you with weariness, confusion, or old emotions, stay grounded. The signs are not coming. They are already near, and your awareness will determine your acceleration. Be alert, chosen one. Something holy is approaching your doorstep. You have carried far more than anyone knows. You have walked through fires with no audience, wept through nights with no comfort, and made decisions in silence that only heaven witnessed. The strength they see now was not given to you. In a moment it was forged in secret through seasons of delay, rejection, and internal war. But chosen one, what was hidden in pain is about to be revealed in power. You were not overlooked. You were preserved. While others ran ahead, you were held back, not because you were forgotten, but because your steps required a higher level of protection. You were not delayed because you were weak, but because what rests on your life is weightier than most can carry. God has been preparing you, and now that the time has come, He will also vindicate you. Your name, once dismissed, once ignored, is now being remembered, not in gossip, not in judgment, but in favor. Those who once walked away thinking you were finished will soon witness what happens when heaven keeps a record. You do not need to explain. You do not need to defend. The fruit that is about to rise will speak louder than every false narrative that tried to cover your destiny in shadow. Chosen one, do not look for revenge, look for glory. This is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving that God was always right about you. The very spaces that once rejected you will need what you carry. But you must walk in with reverence, not resentment. You are being elevated not just to be seen, but to be trusted. You were hidden so you could be healed. And now you will be revealed because you can be responsible with the influence that is coming. And yes, there will be people from your past who suddenly reach out. Some will feel convicted. Others will feel drawn to your elevation. Not all of them are meant to stay. You must walk in wisdom now. The elevation is real, but so is the test that comes with it. Honor them, forgive them, but do not hand them the keys to your future. What is holy must be protected, not shared with those who only valued you when you were broken. There is no more delay. What heaven set in motion is unstoppable now. The doors are opening. The voices are calling. The right eyes are seeing. And everything that felt dormant is beginning to awaken. Your gift is stretching. Your spirit is rising. And your future is no longer waiting in silence. This is the season of being remembered not by man first, but by God. He saw. He kept count. And now He moves. Now that the word has been released, the atmosphere around you is no longer the same. The timing has shifted. The season has opened. The old cycle has ended, and the heavens have made their decree. But chosen one, how you respond in the coming hours will matter more than how long you waited to get here. Do not speak this lightly. Do not expose it to those who will trample it with skepticism or pollute it with envy. This word was not sent for everyone. It was written for you. What has been unveiled carries weight, and holy things must be handled with holy caution. You are not hiding the miracle. You are guarding the instruction. Some blessings require silence to remain pure. You are no longer in a season of explanation. You are in a season of movement. Do not over-explain your faith to those who never had ears to hear. Do not try to make your obedience make sense to those who live by logic, not spirit. Your only task now is to be ready, ready to move, ready to receive, ready to say yes without hesitation and without fear. Let go of needing confirmation from people. You already received confirmation from God. What you feel rising within you is not emotion, it is alignment. The shift is real. The promise is active. The release has begun. You do not need to force it, chase it, or manipulate it into happening. It is already coming. It has already started. But with glory comes weight. With destiny comes stewardship. And with revelation comes responsibility. The next chapter of your life will require more discernment, not more visibility. More intimacy with God, not more interaction with crowds. You were not prepared for popularity. You were prepared for purpose. And now that the mantle is being laid upon your shoulders, you must walk worthy of the cost it took to carry it. Chosen one. This is not emotional hype. This is not spiritual drama. This is a divine instruction, sealed and delivered from the throne of heaven to your soul. The 17th of June is no longer just a date. It is a defining moment, one that eternity will remember as the day the tide turned, the chains broke and the door opened. Now rest in what has been spoken. Guard it. Pray over it. Move with it. This is the final instruction. Do not go back. Do not hesitate. Do not doubt. The time of fulfillment is not coming. It has begun. Prayer of alignment and awakening for the chosen one on the appointed day. Eternal God, sovereign over time and spirit, I come before you now not in fear, but in holy awe. You have spoken through the stillness, through the shaking, through the waiting that nearly silenced my voice. And yet you saw me. You called me. You kept me hidden, not to harm me, but to prepare me. You watched over every tear I shed, every silent decision I made when no one was looking. And now here I stand, awakened by your word, summoned into clarity, pulled into the moment you marked long ago as mine. I do not pretend to understand the fullness of what you are doing, but I choose now to align myself with it. I surrender my logic, my impatience, my need to control what you have already ordained. I choose to believe that you did not bring me this far to abandon me now. I acknowledge that you are not a God of confusion, but a God of covenant, and if you have brought me to this threshold, you will also carry me through it. I repent for the moments I treated your voice as optional, for when I minimized your whispers to suit my fears. Forgive me for every time I doubted what you confirmed, for every time I demanded proof when peace was already present. Today, I release every burden I was never meant to carry. I let go of old griefs, delayed hopes and questions that no longer need answers. I no longer ask why I was hidden. I thank you that I was. I no longer ask when it will happen. I trust that it has begun. Thank you for closing the doors I begged you to open. Thank you for removing relationships that could not follow me where you were leading. Thank you for preserving me when I didn't even know I was in danger. You did not forget me. You were forming me. You were building the kind of strength that cannot be shaken and the kind of discernment that cannot be bought. What I lost in comfort, I have gained in clarity. And now I step forward, not in assumption but in alignment. I receive what you are releasing. I welcome what you are sending. I prepare room in my heart, in my schedule, in my spirit, for the promise to take root. I close every door you've shut and refuse to knock again on what you have already called finished. I release every person who walked away. I release every season that no longer carries your breath. I no longer mourn what you used to mature me. If the doors open, I will walk through them. If the message comes, I will answer it. If the opportunity appears, I will recognize it by the peace and urgency that confirm its origin. I will not doubt what you confirm. I will not apologize for being chosen. I will not question the weight of the blessing you place in my hands. I will carry it with reverence and walk it out in obedience, not for applause but for purpose, not to be seen but to be faithful. So now, God of my becoming, breathe on this word again. Let it root deep in me. Let it silence every lesser voice and awaken what you hid in the soil of my spirit. Let my next steps be saturated in discernment, covered in grace, and empowered by the oil of intimacy with you. Let the right people find me without striving. Let the wrong ones be removed without strife. Let the promise not just appear but be protected. Let me not just receive it but steward it well. I do not ask to rise quickly. I ask to rise rightly. I do not ask for many things. I ask for the strength to carry what you give. I do not ask for control. I ask for clarity. Mark me again, Lord, not with a title, not with status, but with your presence. Let my name rise only where your name is already honored. I seal this moment in surrender. I lay my story at your feet. I offer my timeline to your will. I call this day holy. I call this shift divine. I call this word fulfilled. And I declare that everything you've spoken over me is not only true, it is already unfolding. In Jesus' name, Amen.